Well, hello everybody. It is Ronnie with Whip and Chain. Today I'm going to talk to you about this year's, which is our first year, temperature blanket we're gonna do. I'm doing actually my temperature blanket is going to be from 2022 because we were in Alaska on vacation and I want something to remember that trip for us. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to be doing tutorials for, is we're going to be doing blocks. That way they go a lot faster and it just seems, it'll keep your attention more instead of trying to do a super large blanket, and some people get stressed out and all. But each month's going to have 2 blocks. They're going to have a block of all the high temperatures. Then they're going to have another block of all that day's low temperatures. Okay. So my blanket, like this is January 1st. This one right here. All right. Starts up here. So this is January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on and so on. And the colors change. I have a scale that I will be showing you. But January has 31 days in it. Each block is going to have 31 rows. And I'm going to get to the question, what happens to the months that we don't have 31 days in. But this is the block. Now I am going to be showing the border that I have chosen to use for it. It's a continuous join. And it makes this beautiful little braided look right on it. But this would be a whole month of January. This is all their lows. This is the whole month of January, all their high temperatures. Then my next one would be, this is February. This is all their lows. Then this is February, which as you can see, I'm not done. February, all their highs. Now, February, this is a good example. February only has 28 days in it. So Maggie, I bought myself some yarn and got some yarn for Maggie when I was in Alaska. Yarn that is produced there from their alpacas, from just all of their different animals there that's bred there, and the yarn is spun and made there. So my last 3 rows here, so this is the 28th. There's no more days in February, so this last 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, this yarn is my little touch of Alaska yarn. That's what I'm doing. You can just pick another color. You can pick a skein of yarn that means a lot to you. I do suggest to try to stay in the same thickness of the yarn, but I do have to admit to you, the yarn I'm using is a 4-ply. This Alaska yarn does, even though it states that it's 4-ply, it's thinner. I can feel it. I can tell just by the whole texture, but I'm going to make it work because I think the idea of having a touch of Alaska yarn in my Alaska temperature blanket, it all feels right to me. But if you don't want to do a high and a low, your blanket's really not going to be real big. I don't know if I have, no, I don't have my my measuring tape handy. That's what I was looking for. I apologize. But if you do your highs and lows in the blanket, it's going to turn out to be a great, wonderful blanket. You'll end up with, I'm doing rows 4 by the length of 6 rows, which is 24 blocks, which works for the 24 squares that we'll be doing. Now, what I need you to do is you find your areas, highest highs and lowest lows, and you make a chart. I just used cardboard off of one of my books here that I have. You want I did what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I did 13 different colors, and plus my Alaska yarn that actually makes 14 colors, and then my joining yarn, which makes 15 colors. Okay, so if you want a very different, unique colored blanket, you would like to try to keep your temperatures only a couple degrees apart from each other. But this is where your imagination rules. You can choose, if you look at all my numbers, some of them are only a couple degrees difference. Some of them are a little more. Some of them are 10. Some of them are 7. Alaska, they get down to -31. They even get colder. And then my husband helped me choose the order of the colors. So we didn't really go in order of the rainbow. He went from light to dark. And then his also other opinion to the blanket was using this ivory metallic yarn to do the join. And let me tell you, I'm glad I went with it. It's turning out really pretty. But so first things first, everybody that does temperature blankets tells everybody to get at least 2 skeins. 2 skeins of every color, that way you don't run out. It's your choice on what you want to do. But if you choose to only do 1 skein per temperature until you see where you're at, you might not get the same dye lot. And I can tell you from experience, just this color alone, this ivory, I love this yarn metallic. There was 2 different dye lots in the bin when I was getting this yarn. And there was a very, very large noticeable difference in the 2 shades. And the last thing I'd want is that to happen to my blanket. So, and with Hobby Lobby, the cool thing is you can always return yarn if you don't use it. But you can also pull yarn from your stash. If you have a big stash and lots of yarn, go that direction too. Your ideas and your choices are just limitless. But I'm excited about this blanket. Every temperature blanket I tried to do and start, I ended up never finishing it, and I ended up just throwing it away because it was too much of a hassle to pull the yarn out, and then it just aggravated me. So I wanted a temperature blanket that we could do. So I am going to make a point of at least twice a month, every other week, I'm going to get online with you guys, and I'm going to do at least one of my blocks so you can see how it's done and how it's going. And we're already in January. So I am aiming for the last week in January to do another block with you. So you see how the blocks are done. And I'm going to show you how I mark my blocks so I know what the front is. And I color coded them on what their months are, because you have to do 4 blocks at a time before you join them. When I show you how to join them, that'll make sense to you. But you have to color code them with a stitch marker or however you want to. But what I did is I keep a running tab in my tablet of what color January lows was, of what January's high was. If you notice, like, this is orange, here's red, here's blue, and here's green. So I know exactly what month they are. I don't have to keep going back and wondering what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. But your color chart, you can do metallic, all metallic colors. You can do all deep dark colors. You can do neon colors. You can do, it's endless. And the other thing is, if you want a blanket that's really warm, I know it's getting discontinued, but if you have a stash of this yarn, Heat Wave, you can do your temperature blanket out of this, and then when you use it, it'll help keep you a little warmer. But I have these earmarked for other projects, but it's a thought. You can buy this yarn on Amazon if they have any left, but from my understanding, they will be discontinuing it. But I wanted to let you guys know where we were on a temperature blanket. And Maggie and I have so many different things in the works. You have no idea how excited we are. We're like we're chomping at the bit between both of us working full-time and tending to other things. We're struggling to get things done, but this is one thing I absolutely love doing. So as long as I'm helping you, you're helping me by giving me a hobby that I absolutely love doing. All right. I would like to hear your comments on this video. See if you have any questions. This is not a tutorial. This is just an explanation of what is to come. This is an exciting project, but my recommendations, if your budget allows, to buy 2 colors of each skein that you want to use. That way you can make sure you get the same dye lot. But if you're not able to do that, it's really not the end of the world, because the color changes all the time. But I would recommend your joining yarn, if you can at least get all that in one lump. And I'm recommending 4 skeins, minimum 4 skeins for all the joining, okay? That'd be great. All right, I will be talking to you guys very soon so we can get started on this temperature blanket. Have a great one. Take care.